Hi, my name is James Shepard, and today I'm going to share with you 2 extreme sales techniques that work. Now, the reason I call them extreme is because honestly, many of you watching this video probably shouldn't try them. It's really hard, but boy, they work. It's unbelievable how well they work. So I just want to give you these 2, and I hope that you will use them in the field. It's going to take some getting used to. I would highly advise that you maybe even role play a little bit. Maybe you've got friends or family, spouse, significant other that you can like sit down and or stand in the living room and kind of role play these things because they're actually really difficult. So the first extreme sales techniques that works is deploying silence in awkward situations. Deploying silence in awkward situations. Now, most salespeople understand the importance of silence, or at least they say that they do. And, they know that after a closing question, if you say like, have I earned your business? Well, you can't say anything after that. You got to be silent and let them think about it and whatever. And to me, that's not an extreme sales technique. I'm amazed at how few salespeople actually use that, but it's not nearly extreme. To me, that's like, you have to know how to do that. But what shocks me, and it's kind of interesting to me, almost funny, is how effective silence can be at other moments randomly that you wouldn't think silence would even be appropriate. So when I'm out in the field, I love doing this. I'll walk into a business, and just today I was at this place. It was like down this gravel road. I'm in central Pennsylvania, so there's a lot of businesses down gravel roads. I'm down this gravel road, and I saw a sign for a shop. They do these like color things on they're like stickers, kind of like for cars, but they're really like expensive stickers. Anyway, I didn't really fully understand the business driving in, but I pulled in and I walked in there. Well, the wife was at the front counter. There's a husband and wife team. And so I was talking to her, and she's like, oh yeah, my husband, he would make all those decisions or whatever. He handles that side of the business. So here comes her husband, and he sits down at the desk. Well, she was expecting me to like go into this like sales spiel to her husband. Like, so her desk is here, his desk is like back a little bit. And so she thought I was going to go into my pitch. Well, there's a problem with that. Number one, this guy looked a little bit on the scary side. He looked a little bit like the kind of guy that would kick me out, the other thing was I could tell that I made a good connection with her when I walked in because I was small talking about the business, and I could tell that she was a very nice person, you know what I mean? So they were like the opposites that attract, And so I decided I'll just be totally silent and I'll let her, introduce me. So I just stood there. And I just kind of stood there for like, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like a little while. It was probably only 10 or 15 seconds, but that's like a really long time when you're standing there. Finally, she's kind of looking at me. I'm looking at her, smiling. So she turns around and says to her husband, hey, this young man, he has a local business and he was wondering if he could take a few minutes to talk to you, which is like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. If I would have said something, he'd have been like, get out of here. We're not interested. She was like so nice and says to her husband, he'd really like a few minutes. Sure. Come on over here. So that was the introduction that I wanted. But I'm amazed at like how often you can use silence. Anytime that you feel like you've maybe said too much, you need to practice getting to a moment of silence, even if it's going to create a little bit of an awkward situation. I don't think I've ever lost a sale out of a moment of silence, because if it's an awkward moment of silence, the key thing is to make sure that it's not awkward for you. Like, it's really awkward kind of for them because they don't know what to say yet. I don't want to give my prospects, one of the keys to selling face-to-face is that I don't want to give my prospects this like really simple way to say no to me. This very kind of cookie cutter sales pitch. I say something and then you say no. I don't like that. I just talk and I say stuff. And if I feel like I'm not making any progress, I'll just stop. And I'll say something like, how do you feel about that? And you just stop and just let them talk, Sometimes I won't even say, how do you feel about that? I'll just stop talking. And again, it's an extreme strategy, but it really works. And again, it's not like a trick. It's because they need to engage their mind. Otherwise, people know how to tell you no. That's easy. They just say, no, that didn't take any thought. You've got to make it so that they've got to think like, why is there nothing happening right now? Why is there no talking? Maybe I missed something that he said, And I've had people say that. They'll say, run through that again with me one time. Because really they weren't listening. And when I just stopped talking randomly, all of a sudden they realized they had no idea what I was talking about. And they're like, say that again. On the phone I use it and people will say, are you there? And I'll say, yeah, I'm here. Right back into silence. It works really well. The second extreme sales tactic I want to share with you today is taking it personally. taking it personally. Now, you really got to be careful with this one because it can get you into trouble if you're not careful with the way that you present it. The number one tip I can give you about this is that you have to be sincere about it. You have to sincerely take it personal when someone is not interested in your products or services. And I know that's a little bit counterintuitive. Most books will tell you that in sales, like just, accept rejection, there's nothing personal about it. It's not personal, it's business, all those statements. And to a certain extent, I understand that when you're in a negotiation, but when you're prospecting, it's actually a good thing. It's a good extreme sales tactic to make it personal, because when you make it personal, then it really displays to the prospect that you don't get told no very often and you really just don't know what to do with it. So let me kind of give you an example of this. So the first thing that I do is, when a prospect tells me no, or they're not interested in moving forward, the first thing I always do is I always act a little bit confused, and I always act like I don't know what to say next, because like no one ever tells me that. So I would do something like, well, you mean like you're saying you don't want to move forward at all? So I say something like that, and so you have to kind of practice it yourself to get the right, way to do it there to come across. But the idea is I start off by sounding a little bit confused or definitely caught off guard, and again, I'm very sincere about it because I actually think that they're going to buy from me at some point. So then the next thing I do is I take it personal, and so what I mean by that is, if somebody's just like blowing me off and I can tell that, especially if I can tell that they haven't really taken me seriously, they haven't taken my proposal seriously, anything like that, I take it personal, and I say something like this. I look right at him and say, Susan, I understand, and I can definitely appreciate, where you're coming from with this. This is a really important decision, but, this is my business, just like this is your business. This is really important to me. Your business matters to me because I want to build my local reputation. I mean, I want to have a client base in the area, people like you that are loyal and a good business person. And so it really matters to me. Now, would you at least give me the opportunity to just prove myself to you? I'm sure you'd at least give me a chance, wouldn't you? So, again, you can do different variations of that, or, different ways depending on what you're selling. I'd usually include some specific information in there about what I'm selling, but the idea behind it is take it personal, and so make it to where they have to personally reject you rather than just reject your product or service. So that's the other sales tactic that I use. That's, again, kind of an extreme tactic, because again, if you say that wrong, people will feel like you're being overly pushy or something, and so you just have to really kind of practice that one. Unfortunately, just like most sales skills, the only way to learn it is through awkward embarrassment, and so you just have to get out in the field and try it, and it's probably going to be a little awkward the first few times you try it. The other way you can learn it, again, that we talked about earlier in the other section, was doing role plays, sitting down in the living room or standing up in the living room with your spouse or significant other or family or friend or somebody, and actually role playing this a little bit. Ask them how they feel once you say that. So use your opening pitch and then ask them how they feel about it. How did that statement make them feel? Ask them to get into the mind of the prospect, and that will really, really help you. So I hope that those two sales tactics were a help to you today. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, please, please, please go to ccsalespro.com and sign up for the free webinar I have coming on Monday, March 27th at 7 p.m. It's a demo of our new instant quote tool. It's really going to enable you to have tons of additional information that you can use. You can use the tactics I just talked about after you use our instant quote tool. Just this morning, I was on the phone with a sales rep. She is doing a fairly good job out in the field selling, and she and I were talking about how she's using our tool. She uses it very differently than others do, but it's really neat. She uses it right off the bat to show them the savings without even getting the statement, to kind of get their interest level up. And so there's a lot of different ways to use it. I'm going to go through, and so one of the nice things about it is that since I did our last demo and our last launch, I've been able to talk to hundreds of users and find out how they're using it. And so not only am I going to do a demo of the tool, I'm going to talk a lot about the different sales processes that have been used with this tool. And at our new price points, $29, you'll be able to start a brand new 30-day trial at $29 a month. I mean, it's really, really low. And so I know you're going to be able to get a lot of value from it. So catch us on the demo, or if it's after March 27th, you're watching this video, just go to instantquotetool.com, sign up for the free trial, and we'll have plenty of training videos for you there to understand how to use it in the sales process. My name is James Shepard. Thanks for watching.